This is the best thing I've ever made.
Like, a day.
It's very divisive. Like, I'm naturally nosy. Watching that, I can remember how their hands would look and stuff when they were doing their makeup or like putting lipstick on them.
Is it like pinch
Yeah.
potting?
Thinking I want to make these pots. Okay, get on with it. It was like a vibe. Happy to let them clay do the thing. You look too like uptight. But it does feel nice to be like, I think I know what's going to happen if I do this.
Hiya! Welcome back to This Is Mint, the podcast that talks to the creatives, makers and the movers and shakers of the north of England. Thank you very much to everybody who listened to the Mark Radcliffe episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's on YouTube and then on Spotify and Amazon Music as well. So yeah, we had a really, really good chat in the Regal Theatre in Tenbury Wells. So if you haven't listened to that already, then go back, and you can also go and listen to Corey's interview and Richard Dawson's interview as well. Hope everybody's okay in the heatwave out there. It's been a manic couple of weeks. I graduated. I graduated from my masters this week, just gone actually, which was really nice. My mum and my sister came up, and yeah, we just had a nice day in Newcastle. Like, did all the graduation-y bits, and then went for some food, and it was really nice to see them. And also getting ready to go to Sicily. So tomorrow I'm getting the train down to London, and then on Thursday I am flying out to Sicily with my trio. We are playing at Alcantara Festival. I've been to Sicily before. I've been to Italy. I went to Italy in 2007. It was probably the first abroad gig I ever did at a festival in Assisi, when I first joined the Fosbrooks, a very, very long time ago now. So yeah, I'm very excited to be going there and seeing what Sicily's like, and getting to play some tunes with the lads, because that's always fun. So I'm going to tell you about this week's podcast. So this week's podcast is with the incredible Becca Brown, who is a potter and ceramicist. She's originally from Inverness, but she now lives in Sheffield. And we got to have a really gorgeous chat in her amazing studio space that she's got. And yeah, we just kind of like chatted about how pottery works. I've never really spoken to anyone who does pottery before. And we chatted about how important it is for people to, have creative hobbies, and for young people to be immersed in art in school and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, she's very, very cool, and I hope you enjoy it. So here's Becca Brown.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good.
But good.
Thank you. That's okay. This is the first time I've ever interviewed anyone who does pottery, so I'm really excited.
Okay.
I feel like I'm probably one of those lame people that likes, like, I've watched The Great Pottery Throwdown.
Oh my god, no, I love it. But it's very divisive. So.
Yes, yeah. But yeah. We are in Sheffield. Yes. How long have you been in this space for?
I've been in this studio here for it's coming up 6 years, but I've been at Yorkshire Art Space for nearly 8.
Cool.
So I was in a shared space before.
Yeah. And you're from Inverness originally.
Yeah.
What inspired the sort of move from Inverness to Sheffield?
Well, I moved home after uni because I just was like, I don't know what to do, and I'm scared. So and I was working in like a shared clay studio. It was like a community studio, and working in retail and stuff as well. And then I was like, but I was living with mum and dad, and I was like, no. And my mum and dad were like, no. So I think just wanting my own space. And then I saw this Start a Studio program advertised. I think it was in Ceramic Review or something. I actually can't remember where I saw it advertised, but it was for this 2-year program in Sheffield where you could make ceramics, have like subsidised studio rent, and have technical support and business support, and they were both things that I needed help with. So I got the train down for an interview, and then was like, yeah, this is cool. And mum and dad were like, Sheffield. So
how long did it take you to get back up?
Well, thankfully they've moved down now, but it used to take it could take about 9 hours on the train, because you had to change in Edinburgh. So if it worked out, you could be there for a wee while, but if the trains didn't work out, you had to hang around.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference from like living in Inverness to living in Sheffield?
I actually think it's quite similar in that, like, it feels small, like everyone sort of knows each other, like, which is a nice thing. But the difference is probably, it feels like it feels like there's more going on to me. I think there is actually probably, and I know for a fact since I've moved away, there's like a really good creative community in Sheffield, because there's a whole new studio in Inverness, but there's a whole new studio building. But when I was there, I think probably just from it being my hometown and stuff like that, I felt like there was nothing going on. You know, you've got that.
Yeah. Like...
So here it feels like very new and exciting. Whereas people from Sheffield, they're always like, oh, Sheffield's, there's nothing happening here, and I'm like, there is. You're so lucky. And
I love it. Yeah, I love Sheffield. I've only been a few times, but I love coming. Like it's just, great. Yeah.
It's really chilled, and I think as well you can kind of, from being in Inverness as well, like you are quite remote. So like if you wanted to go and see bands and stuff, quite often you would have to travel. But here you can just nip to Leeds or nip to Manchester. So I do think there's not enough gigs of the bands I want to see in Sheffield.
Yeah.
Come to Sheffield.
I know. I'm like that with Newcastle. To be honest, it's like, why are you playing in Manchester again?
I know.
Like...
I know. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that.
I know. So you came here to do like a 2-year thing. So, but before that, like, how did you kind of get into working with ceramics and pottery and things like that? Like, what was the kind of starting? Have you always done like illustration work and things like that?
Yeah, I was doing textiles at uni up in Aberdeen, and it was like there was like 14 people on the course. It was quite chilled. That was it. And it was quite free as well. It didn't need to be like, it wasn't like textiles for industry and stuff. It was sort of like quite open. And then so I was doing like embroidery and screen printing, but I was sort of like, I don't know, but it was very much about like being able to draw on the surface. And then I went over to Germany for like Erasmus exchange, and I can't remember why. I think I maybe at the time was seeing a lot of like ceramics and things, and illustrated ceramics, and I just thought, oh okay, I can try that. And there was like, I think there was 6 people on the ceramics degree, so they were like, yeah, come in. So I started there. They were like, I think they thought, oh, this textiles girl is just like not gonna hang about, but I was like, no, I actually really like this. So and then I did a master's in Edinburgh, and that was in illustration, but we shared the studio with the glass students just by chance, so there were still kilns around, so I was like, well, I may as well keep doing this. And then like that, there was no ceramics tutor or anything, and the glass tutor was great. She was, well, the glass technician, she was great. She was like, well, you can use the kilns, but I don't know anything about it, so it's on you. So I had to go and like do it myself, and then
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. So that's, now I just do hand building, and I think it's from kind of having to go back to like the bare basics of like, instinctively I was like, I want to make bowls. You can just pinch them and shape. So yeah.
That's so cool. What is there like? Do you find that there's a slightly different like creative like process, like if you're just doing like illustrating work or like textile work compared to pottery, like what is the difference between those like processes, do you think?
I think like I like the physical feel of it. I like the action of just pinching the pots into shape. It's quite like meditative. That's quite it's quite like quite relaxing. And then as well, like having to do it in stages, because it goes through so many kind of, it changes completely in the kiln. So I think that's quite nice, and it gives me opportunities to like layer up different drawings and prints as well. So whereas on paper I tend to go for the same materials and stuff like that. So yeah. I think it's that having to pause and like wait for 24 hours for it to be in the kiln, and then it comes out totally different.
Is that how long it takes to go into it?
Yeah.
So you like put it in there for like a day?
Well, it depends on the kiln. I've got a good kiln, like so it's by good I mean it's wee, so it doesn't take ages to cool down, and like it's fairly new, so the insulation's quite good. So some firings take less than that, but that was like a day and overnight.
So that's mad. Like
I think if it was longer, I'd be like, too patient.
It's ticking. Come on, like
So that like enforced stopping and then having to look at it again. Suits my brain.
I think that's quite good. I think having breaks from things is always quite a good tool.
It's difficult.
Like I think creatives, you want like the product there and like ready. So actually being like, no, you've actually got to wait for this actually. And will it work? Like because it's quite like you can never. That's why I'm so nervous for that part. Because like it can look good and then
until it's out of its final firing and cooled down. It's like.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything that you've had like you had a really clear idea about, and then it kind of got to it, and you just sort of went, oh god,
all the time. Yeah, all the time. But I do find the longer I've been doing it, the more kind of reliable the results are, which feels really good. Like it feels like I know my stuff, but then as well it's made me want to kind of change the way I work a little bit as well, just to like push it a bit further. So but it does feel nice to be like, I think I know what's going to happen if I do this. Because it took me ages to be like when it would come out the kiln, you'd think, why? What's happened here? So yeah, it feels really good to have that sort of technical knowledge now.
Yeah, that's really cool. So one of the things that I was really drawn to when I was looking at your work is like the illustrations, like, and you can kind of see them. I mean, if you listen to this on audio, you can't see it, but like just like the way you illustrate, I find really interesting, and I really love it. Like, and I wondered like how did you come to kind of hone in that style of illustration? Was it quite a natural thing, or was there something that kind of made you go, oh, I really want to go down that avenue? Like, what was the process of that?
I think that it's really hard. Like, I do feel like I've got like a distinct style now, and I don't think it was a conscious thing. Like when I was at uni, I was trying to find a style, like, but didn't. I think probably by my last year, I was like, had given up that kind of pressure, but I think like I've always drawn women. Quite a lot of my drawings are of people and like women in particular, just because I like people watching and stuff as well. So when I was at school, I always did sort of like cartoony drawings and stuff, and it's quite nice. I'm still in touch with like my art teacher from school, and she's
that's nice.
Oh, she's so sad. Yeah, she's really sad. And it's quite nice seeing like she can sort of see how it's developed. Like she's not one to make a fuss, but she's mentioned it a couple times, and that felt really nice. I was like, oh cool, it's not come from nowhere. And when I don't have a lot of my old artwork and stuff, but I can see how it's developed. But as well, I think I've always kind of used like a fine line. So playing around with that and developing how I made the line, like going from just using like fine liners at school to different methods of printmaking and stuff, that's kind of freed up the drawings.
So that's really cool. No, it's so cool. It's so interesting because I read something that you do a lot of it's kind of like narrative based, and I just wondered like, are those narratives like, are they based on like you, or is it based on like you mentioned about people watching? Is that like a big part of your like creative process, like people watching and stuff?
I think like I'm naturally nosy. Probably that's Highlands. Like we love the gossip. So but I do think just kind of watching people and like I'm not too sure. I did when I first started making ceramics, I was thinking a lot about like superstitions and old wives' tales and things, so I would use those stories as kind of like a prompt to draw, and then I felt like that was sort of my last year at uni. That was like 2014. So I've kind of gone away from that, and now it's more just about the kind of everyday little things. So things like when I was at school, I had like a really lovely group of friends that were girls, and we'd always be going on a night out. We'd always be getting ready together, and that's like, I think from kind of just watching that, I can remember how their hands would look and stuff when they were doing their makeup or like putting lipstick on it. So I don't know.
I love that, like that kind of like subconscious, and I think just being in that, like, I guess being in that platonic space where you're like with the people, and you just kind of they're just doing their things, and it's I love that kind of process. I think I think you might have to correct me on some of the technical terms, but like I really love, like, I think alongside like the drawings being very real and very like, you know, so very normal and very everyday and all that, I really like the kind of style, I guess, that with the thumb printing, which I'm guessing is maybe to do with the way it's you create art and stuff like that. And I just wondered, is that kind of like a conscious thing of like using the kind of more, is it like pinch
Yeah.
potting technique?
Yeah.
Phew, goodness, like I feel like it really makes it all link together and just makes it feel very like real and very like normal life.
That's
and
good to hear.
Yeah, no, I do. I think, is it kind of like, was that always like the thing you really wanted to do, or did you ever want to do the more like using the wheel kind of stuff?
I think it was sort of just necessity of like having like no equipment, so just thinking I want to make these pots, okay, get on with it. And then but I really like the texture to draw on, because it makes me less controlled as well, because like you can't really get too precious about it because there's a bump somewhere, and the line will kind of go with the bump and stuff. I have tried, I was like slip casting for a while, so actually these molds, the big huge molds, you would pour like liquid clay in and it'll make a perfect impression of that, and they were just really flat, like so I think the bumps are important. Like I went through a phase whenever I'd take them out of the kiln, I'd be thinking, what is it, like I was proud of myself for making this big pot and having it survive the firing, but I was like, I don't love you. You look too like uptight, and then
you look weird.
Yeah, you look weird, and like
I like uptight. I really like that.
It's really so. I think the hand building is that texture is important. Having like I don't want to spend ages making something and then have someone question how it's been made. I want people to think, God, she's sat like a crazy woman and pinch that until it's made the shape of a cup, and now I'm drinking out of it. So,
do you have a favourite thing to make, like a favourite product to make?
It's kind of, I feel like it's changing a bit at the minute. I like making fruited bowls. I kind of like the precariousness of it. People always like panic that it's going to fall over, and I'm like, no, I've thought the weight through. Like,
I'm a professional.
I've got this. But that did take a while, actually. At first I didn't give any thought to that, and they were toppling over. But they're sort of my favourite things to make, because they're not functional. They're just a drawing, but it's pot shaped. But I think, as I'm trying to go through this like development time, that's kind of changing a little bit. I'm thinking about like flat things. So
in like, I guess in writing tunes and stuff, I have done lots of times where it's been someone's like birthday or wedding, and I've had to emergency write a tune because I haven't bought them anything. Have you ever had that where you've gone, oh God, it's their birthday, and you're sat like making?
No, I did do that. I did that for my friend Ruth. She's also a potter, and there was this video of a man cutting his fringe, and I was like, it was like a vine, and I was like, it just made me laugh for days, and then I showed it to her and it made her laugh, and like, it's just the best thing ever. So I drew that on a pot for her, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever made. Like, I honestly think, I was like, that's it, you may as well just quit. But I've made other things. But that was the best thing. It doesn't always go as well as that, but I do think having that element of pressure, and knowing the person really well. If it's a commission that someone else has made, I find them really hard. Like if someone asks me to draw like a moment, well, quite often they'll say like, can you draw this, like me and my wife or whatever, and I'll say but then I find it really hard because I don't know them, so I don't know what their mannerisms are like, or their wee silly stories are like. Whereas if they tell me about like if they chat for a bit and they tell me a bit about it, then I'm like, a bit easier. But it's definitely easier to make something daft. Like, do you get that?
I write like the amount of like silly tunes that I will write, and then sometimes they don't see the light of day, and then occasionally the odd one will get through. But I think that's part of being creative. I think it is like you've got to be you've got to kind of like, you've got to, I guess it's, you've got to write a lot of stuff in order to get the good stuff. It's like you've got to write 10 things before you get the right thing. I don't know. Is that kind of the same for you, like with, or does it depend? Like,
I think it is like, but I think it's tricky because with pottery, like you can sort of go down the batch production route, and like a thrower would probably tend to do, or like traditionally do, but so I think when I'm sort of in that frame of mind where I'm like, okay, you're making these things, and thinking of them more as like products, then it doesn't feel too overwhelming. But if I'm at the development stage where I'm trying to make anything new or change things, there's all sorts of rubbish, and I think it's quite difficult to like get out the habit of wanting to keep it. If I'm not happy with it before it goes in the kiln, there's no point in firing it. Like, it's a waste of materials, it's a waste of electricity, and it'll live for thousands of years. It's quite like, that took a while to kind of be able to like just let go of it and think, try again. When you've put loads of time into it and stuff. It's like, but then I think, maybe it's the same songs, like bits of it will hang around and I'll try them next time and stuff.
It's like building on what you've done and then taking it off and then building it again and taking it off. I just think I guess it's like, it's funny like doing this and like talking to people that aren't musicians. It's so nice to know that like the creative process is the same, it's just the material is different. I love that. I wanted to ask a little bit just because, so we were talking very briefly before we started about like COVID and stuff, and I for some reason got so many ads and things like that for like, you know, like the like kind of pottery kits that you get and you like
like the home ones,
like you do it at home, like getting those like pottery kits, and I saw that you do like workshops, like pottery workshops and things, and I wondered like how, when you are doing those kinds of workshop people and they're like sat and like creating stuff on products that you've made, I wonder what that feeling must be like, seeing people like actually like using your stuff and then they're putting their own influences on it. Does that like influence you in any way, or?
I think so. Like I had a nice one the other week where we did like, it just like peanut pot kind of thing, but I'd made the bowls so they still had that texture to work with. But it's really nice. I think like when you're doing that, I don't really feel any kind of ownership over the bowls themselves because it's quite a simple shape. But it was really cool to see what everyone had done. It was really nice. Whereas with if I'm doing workshops with like where we use clay from scratch, I find them a bit more they're much more difficult to run, and there's all sorts of worries about whether it's going to survive the kiln and things. But I find them really interesting because people approach it, because it's a ball of mud kind of thing. Like they approach it really differently. So I like doing them even more. And then it's like, I don't have any kind of, I've not had any input into the making other than sort of like giving some technical advice and stuff like that, but it's always really cool to see what people come up with.
Do you find that can help your, like sometimes help your creativity, like sometimes like watching other people doing stuff and you go, oh, I've never thought of it like that. Have you ever had any like specifics where you like, I've never thought about it like that?
I think I ran one last year at Unit 12 it's called, in Staffordshire, and that was really good because quite a lot of the people who came were artists, and so I think just different ways of working, that a lot of them were more precise than me. One of them, she does like textile work and stuff, and you have a bit more control over that. So it was interesting to see her kind of wrestling with the fact that you don't really have, you can't really have that much control over clay if it's your first time working with it, and I think that made me think, okay, you should take that into your own work, like try and control it a bit more. But it also made me glad that I'm kind of a bit more happy to let the clay do the thing. But I think that was probably the most useful one, because that was like a monoprinting and surface workshop, so everyone just dealt with it really differently, and then we built with the scraps that we decorated, and they all made, like everything I make is quite organic, but people were making like straight sided things from slabs, and I was like, oh, these look good. So now that's kind of sticking in my head, and I'm like, a slab is just a big coil, you could build with that. So I think cool. At the time I didn't really notice it because I was too busy thinking, oh, I hope it's going well and stuff, but it sort of sticks in the back of my mind.
No, it's really, I think, it's just so, I think watching other people must just be like, I feel like there must be moments where you're sort of like, oh, could you do it? No, don't do it like that. Like, I can imagine there's probably a bit of that, but like,
I just wanted to be like, oh no, you don't need to worry, just let it do its thing.
But
it was quite, I could see that like, it was just a totally different approach. And I was sort of, like, where this artist was more used to, and she's a friend as well, I know her from Craftwear, so I was thinking, every time I see her, she's dead chilled, but then I thought, no, she's used to having, she's used to the material, she's used to being in charge, and I was thinking, wow, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, and I felt quite a bit of pressure of trying to be like, trying to get it under control for her, when I was thinking, I don't know what'll happen if you do that. So I suppose just trying to get over like the embarrassment as well of not knowing everything, or feeling embarrassed when I don't need to, like.
Yeah. It's like, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah. Like, I just was like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And she, in the end, she made beautiful things. Like when they came out, I was like, look at what you made.
Yeah. I guess linking on to that, like, obviously, like working with clay and stuff, you've mentioned already that it's like, it's quite a good physical thing to do. Yeah. And I guess like a lot of art is kind of that, like, it's expressing yourself. How important do you think it is for like people who maybe aren't artists or don't do art? How important do you think it is for people to have any sort of creative outlet? What do you think, like, do you think that, like, how do you think that helps people, I guess?
I just think, like, I can't imagine not having it. And I think, like, we were talking as well, I'd worked in a school for a bit, and there was a real, like, even since, I mean, it has been a while since I was at school, but like, since when I was at school, there was always kind of like, you were sort of expected to take like a bit of a creative subject, where like if it was music or like woodwork or art or textiles even, and then whereas I found that wasn't really, not everyone was doing like a enjoyment kind of subject, and I was like, how do you, what? Like, what? So I found that quite strange, and then I think it's really important. And then as well, the students I was working with, we'd do quite a lot of like craft stuff, and they'd be like, why am I learning this? It was like a alternative provision, so they were quite like, they were really funny, but they were quite fed up. They would be saying, why am I learning this? Like, what's this gonna do for me when I'm older? And I was saying, nothing, probably. Like, you're not gonna be a potter, but you've learned like to be patient. You've learned like, you've learned a new skill. You've chilled out for half an hour. In like 2 days, you're gonna be like, look what I made. You can have a cup of tea out of it. Like, you'll feel proud about it. And I think as well, like, I think it's really important. I think it's like undervalued in schools, is the impression I get from that experience and from what I read and things. And when you see all the arts courses and things at uni being cut and stuff, it's like, it doesn't feel like it's valued. And I think it is going to be kind of crap if like, if like arts and creativity is not taken seriously. Like, I think in places like this, like in our studios, you see how many people are like making a living from art and running workshops and stuff, and it's a nice place to be. It's a nice life. Like, sorry, that's a bit of a rant, but it's, I feel worried about it, because I think like it just feels really sad if it gets lost, like if the opportunity to make things gets lost.
And also like I guess like the craft in general gets lost as well. Like I think like, I mean like, I guess here like with handmade pottery and stuff, like it is like, it's a skill and it's a craft, and you know, you want to be able to preserve that. But even like what you were saying about like with like students being like, oh, why am I doing this? And it's like, you actually are doing so much, your brain is doing so much more than you think it is. Like even like dexterity, like you know, forming them and things like that. And I think it is something that we should encourage more.
Definitely.
Like having creative outlet, I think, is such an important
I think as well, just having it as a hobby as well, like not having to make it into like not having to set up an Etsy shop and things, but just doing a craft for the sake of it. Like now I'm trying to do sewing and things. I don't use sewing as part of my practice, but like as a hobby. Because I think this is like, as much as I love it, now it's my job. It's not my hobby. So I was like, what do you do? I don't want to do a sport. I should do something. I should do like another craft. So.
Did you find that that transition from it being a hobby to being your job? Did you find that hard?
I still find it quite hard. Like it's hard to get the balance of it. Like as you know, I'm sure.
It's hard to
take time off and stuff. And I think as well, it's sometimes hard to take it seriously, like, because you think, well, it's just my pots, and then, but no, it's your job.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I feel like now my friends must think I'm really uptight because like a few of them are on like maternity leave and stuff, and they're like, oh, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, no, I'm at work. Because I have to be, or I'll just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I think maybe taking it seriously myself, and having all the business stuff as well, like that's a big shock. So
I've just got a couple more questions for you. So I wanted to ask about so when you're working in this amazing space, I'm absolutely obsessed. I keep looking around and seeing like new things, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. But I wondered, so what does a sort of general day look like when you're in the studio? Like what would be like a normal day in the office, if you like?
Well, I have a really nice dog who's not here, so I walk her in. And Sheffield's lovely for a nice walk. So even just we walk through the trains behind the train station, and there's like a nice wooded bit. So it's quite a nice start. I'm like, that's usually when I'm like, God, as if this is my job. So and then we'll get here, and it's different really. It depends. I tend to go through periods of like making pots and like making the forms, and then other times I'll be doing the drawing. I don't do the two together just for like practicalities of it, and then other days you'll be like wrapping up loads of things to go to the post office, and then I have like a big long walk with her at lunchtime, and it's quite nice because there's a group of people with dogs I always meet up with, because otherwise I'd go mad like just being here for myself. That's like my social time as well, and then I'll come back and usually carry on. It's quite nice because that kind of break means that the pots can like firm up a little bit, so I can refine them a bit, or the ink as well, because to do the monoprinting I make my ink from scratch. Sometimes the consistency is a bit off, and it needs a little bit more time to dry, so I can like do them the night before or do some more before I go for my walk, and like get some ink ready. So lots of breaks. It's kind of hard.
But that's what you'd have in an office. You'd go and have like a coffee break and like you know, like tea break, go and like chat to people, and it's like, you know, it's like it is. And then I wondered, what do you have, like, do you listen to music in or podcasts, or like what normally is going on whilst you're working? Usually
there's something. It'll either be music or a podcast. It's never just like one or the other, but sometimes I think you're in the mood to listen to a podcast, other times you want to listen to music. But I actually feel quite embarrassed because I've got quite like emo taste to music.
What do you listen to?
Well, no, I do like, I can't even say I'm too ashamed, but I still like, I like at the minute, do you know Joanna Sternberg? And so I'm just belting my heart out. But lots of feelings. And I feel really bad for like, on my floor it's all we've got some nice like shy old men who've been there for ages in the studios. And I'm like, oh my god, I hope they can't hear me. But they're all really nice, so I think they'd just be like, okay.
Oh, don't be embarrassed about the emo thing. I'm a massive sort of emo, like
I think like some days you want to listen to like Joyce Manor and things like that. But I'm just like, it's quite, when the door is closed it's quite quiet, so no one can hear me. But then like I don't know, I like all podcasts. I listen to like there's one called A Little Bit Fruity that's quite political. It's really good, but it's American as well, so I'm like, don't get too riled up because it's different here, but it does. So then I have to listen to like the Bella Freud one, which is so soothing. So nice. I don't know what I'd do with it. I did have a radio, but the speaker went funny. But I think I preferred the radio actually, because you don't need to keep picking up your phone and like choosing what to listen to. It was just on, and like but I need to fix it. I don't really know how. So my phone will do for now.
That's fair enough. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Thank
you.
I'm gonna continue sort of exploring what is in this room.
So.
But thank you so much.
So that was Becca Brown. I think she's great, and I love her designs. I really like how she is really influenced by like platonic friendship and the experiences around that. I found very interesting. I think a lot of what I'm writing for my album at the moment is kind of based around a lot of like how platonic friendship is and how it manifests itself and the importance of it and all that. So it was really nice to hear how she interprets that, but through pottery and illustration. I thought it was very cool. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. And just another call out, I am going on tour in the autumn, so if you are in Sheffield, if you are in Bury, Guildford, Birmingham, if you are in Cambridge, Baulking, Bristol or Bretforton, Evesham, then you can come and see me and the lads on tour. So tickets will be in the bio down below, and it'd be lovely to see you there. So thank you very much for watching This Is Mint, and I will see you soon. Bye!